I already been on earlier. I was just sitting around thinking, looking at stuff, reading stuff. And then something just hits me, right? So I said, while it's fresh on my mind, I should go ahead and get it off my mind, right? Because when you get older, you don't remember stuff the way that you used to remember stuff. So while you're still in a good mind, you know, you want to, all the things that you couldn't say back in the day because you could lose your job or you could lose your life or whatever. So you have to like put them things on the back burner until you get yourself to the point that you don't have to put those things on the back burner no more. And then you can just tell your story. There is people out here that will do everything they can to stop your story. They'll lie on you. They'll steal from you. They'll take advantage of you. And they'll do it all in the name of the Lord. Like, they think they better than somebody else. They think that God loved them more than God loved us. But we know now that that's not true. The Bible says that the strong is supposed to support the weak. It ain't the other way around. The strong is supposed to strengthen the weak. That's why people say that a chain is only as good as its next link. You can't have a weak link in the chain. No matter how strong the chain is when they're together, but when there's weakness in the chain, everybody else can be doing everything right. But that one weak link could bring everything tumbling down to the ground. You remember the story of Samson? How he fell in love with this harlot, and he was already promised to another young Jewish girl, but he wanted that harlot. And he did the ultimate thing that God wasn't going to forgive him for. He told him he couldn't drink no wine, no kind of alcohol. And he can't tell the secret where his strength lies. But Delilah was a cunning and deceiving woman. And she did everything that Samson wanted because the Philistines and everything was paying her to keep Samson's mind confused. That's why the Bible says that either you got to make the tree good and make its fruit good, or make the tree bad and make its fruit bad. You can't go both ways. You can't straddle the fence. It's showtime now. It's time to see who is really doing what God said to do. Are you going to see that everything that you believe was a lie. They trying to erase what black people did and what brown people did for this country. And for 240 over 240 years, that prejudice white man worked us like animals. He treated us like animals. He fed us like we was animals. He denied us freedom. A freedom of speech. A freedom of the press. A freedom to bear arms. All those things was denied to the people of African descent. And it's still going on today. It just got a different name. Think about this. The people that's around the president, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, the 3%ers, the KKK, the Aryan Nation, whatever you want to call them, they all surrounding the president of the United States. They his angels. He tells them to jump, and they jump. He ain't gonna stand from no good person that believes in the Constitution, even though we don't believe in the same politics. Liz Cheney, destroyed. Everybody that represent God, that represent righteousness, that represent justice, they always bring down, they always lie on. They try to look like they somebody. Think about this. Just think about how stupid the American people are. Just think about this. If you ain't stupid, please tell me what you is. You see this ballroom in Washington, D.C.? Look kind of like heaven, don't it? Look like the people that's living this kind of life believe that they are some kind of God. These things was built with slavery hands. With black people being treated like animals, and Mexicans and Native Americans being treated like animals. While they sitting up here on their throne like they are God. I guess they gonna try to lift themselves above the third heaven, so they can say, I'm God and there's nobody like me. Look at me. Look at me. Look what I have achieved. And they haven't achieved nothing. All the workmanship and the ideals and the planning that black people did with their hands and with picks and with shovels. and how you try to cover up all the inventions and everything that we made. But since you done took our rights away and we're not allowed to have no property and no freedom of speech and no kind of education and nothing like that, but you sitting up here on your high horse living like you are God. And you're looking down on us like we ain't nothing but scum. You see that ballroom? You see that White House? You see the Capitol in Washington, D.C.? You see all those FBI buildings and CIA buildings and all those freeways that you drive up and down to get back and forth from state to state? We own that. That's our stuff. It's not their stuff. It's our stuff. And we have the right under the Constitution of the United States of America to possess our stuff. That's why we have elections. When the people that we elect go to the White House or anywhere in Washington, D.C., and they forget about they work for us. You getting your salary from us. You up there living like you a God, and you're going to put your foot around our neck. And you're going to oppress us. Just think about the employees at Walmart. The employees that work for Walmart, they go into the CEO of Walmart and they tell Walmart, no, I want a $30 raise. And what if Walmart say yes or no? We still get our $30 raise. Think about this. The employees that we paying, think about this now. The one that living in trailers. The one that living in apartment buildings. The one that living in the park or in the street or in their car. Think about this now. The people up there in Washington, D.C., they work for us. Everything that you see that's owned by the federal government, it belongs to us. Let me tell you what the Constitution says and what the Constitution is. What it says and what it is. The Constitution is all powerful. Okay? So it's all powerful as far as the American people is concerned. You know, God is the one with the ultimate all power, but I'm talking about within the Constitution. There's things that people can do and there's things that people can't do. But every 4 years and every 2 years, there's an election, so you pick somebody to represent what you want. Say in the state of Alabama or the state of Texas or the state of California or Arizona. Just think about that. So everybody in the federal government, I know how Republicans lie to you and all that old kind of stuff. Okay? Everybody that's up there in Washington, D.C., that working for the federal government, they live in a state. That's why we're not a democracy, we're a republic. So that's why we send each 50 states, send people up there. every 2 years, every 4 years, or 6 years as a United States Senator. You send them up there. They represent the state. So the federal government is states. The federal government is states. The states is the one that form the federal government. Don't you get that? The states are the one that form the federal government. The federal government works for 50 states. And the 50 states pay them. That's how they get the money. That's how come they tax your check. The federal government is funded by the states. Without the states, the federal government has nothing. See, the Constitution is what we agreed upon that we will live by and abide by. So that's in the Constitution. So now we have to make the people that we elect and send them there to represent us. See, they up there to represent us. The federal government is of the people. It's by the people. It is the people. We are the federal government. We have the power. No more do we put disrespectable, dishonorable people in office to oversee everybody. Justice is blind. That lady has got a blindfold on, and she got a balance in one hand, and she got a sword in the other one. The balance is to treat people fair with justice and freedom. But the sword is to punish the evildoers. If you don't have and stand up for justice, what are you here for? What is your benefit to God and Christ? What is your benefit? You represent the devil. God tell you, anybody that says they know God, but they keep not God's commandments, God said you can call that person a liar right to their face. You hypocrites. You cut funding for the old people that can't take care of themselves no more. You cut funding for HBCU schools because you want them to fail. You cut funding for free lunches for people that don't have the money but working their fingers to the bone. Now, the federal government belongs to us. All the property, all the buildings, all the interstates, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine, no matter what kind of office you call, that's part of the federal government. We are the owners. We are the one that pays your salary. And we demand that you keep and protect the Constitution of the United States, or you need to get to stepping. When the midterm election comes in November, I'm not endorsing a candidate, but I'm going to tell you, anybody that go and vote and vote for people that trying to take away my freedom, trying to take away the freedom of the black and the brown people. Anybody that do stuff like that, they are our enemy. They're not just our enemy. They're God's enemy. And they Christ's enemy. God brought us to the pinnacle. No more should we let anybody think that they better than we are, or live any better than we do. The only reason that everybody don't benefit and have a good life because of hate in this country and in this world. There is people that just straight up hate people for no reason, just so they can hate. That must be a miserable life. Can you imagine going through life and you ain't never satisfied? You always complaining about this and you're always complaining about that. Just imagine how those prejudiced white people with a straight face, and Mike Johnson looked in the camera and said Jesus came to him personally and told him that he needed to pass that big, beautiful bill, the one that cut Medicaid, that cut grants that go to HBCU colleges, that cut free lunch program, that cut SNAP. It's going to starve people and use and abuse people. And he's doing it with our money. He's doing it with our stuff. He's just robbing the country blind. And over 77 million people agree with him and following him. Just think about that. The devil's son-in-law has got over 77 million people that sold their soul for 30 pieces of silver. They pull a Judas just so they can live in palaces and walk around in the palace halls and to laugh and joke and spend millions of dollars on seafood, just having a good time off the poor, middle class, and low income. Just imagine the owner of Walmart, the employee that's cleaning the bathroom, is living better than the owner of the company. That's why, and Congress, the Republicans in Congress, in the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court, they don't believe in the Constitution. If you was a fair justice, or you was a fair House of Representatives or United States Senate, and you know that everybody is equal under the Constitution. Equal means that if you got the freedom to speak, so do I. Why are you protecting Donald Trump's freedom of speech, but you're not protecting mine? Why are you still giving grants to the white schools, but you don't want to give it to the HBCUs? Ain't that kind of prejudice? How many people in America do black people own? Or owned it for 240 years? 99.9% of all the people that own slaves in America was white. Now, if you went to the stockyard and you saw that the people had human beings for sale, and you went there and you put your bid in, and then you bought them and you took your cattle home, and then you put them to work with no pay. Is that godly? Why don't you answer that? Is that godly? I don't think so. For you to talk about the black people and talk about the black women, and all you was doing was raping them, is raping your slave people because they treat you like an animal and they entitled to do that? Now tell me, my sister and my brother, my Caucasian brother, is that right? Would you want somebody to take your little beautiful white girl and just take them and rape them, gang rape them, beat them? Would you want to stand there and watch while somebody do that to your sister or your mama? You think that's cool? You think God was in that? And you think that God was with you on that? See, that's got to be backwards thinking. The people that didn't do nothing is living like they're gods, like in heaven. Look at that ballroom. I'm talking about that's a real ballroom that we own. But do we get to have parties in that beautiful ballroom? Do we get to have weddings in that ballroom and we own it? We are the owner, but the employees can use it, but the owner can't. Hey, ain't something kind of upside down there? The employees build these great palaces, and they make the owner pay for it, while the employee, get all the benefits. That's kind of unjust there, ain't it? Didn't the Bible say when you light a candle, you don't put it under a bushel, but you put it on a candlestick so everybody can see? That beautiful ballroom should be rented out to anybody that want to go there and have a wedding. Long as they got enough money to fund the security guards and all that kind of stuff, it's your property. Why should the devil be living better than you? That's why a lot of people turning away from Christ, because they are here barely making it with a wife and 3 kids. They barely getting by. And your employee is in heaven living like they are God. And you suffering. You paying for their salary. You paying for their big old ballroom. You paying to protect them from the very people that they destroying. Let me tell you something. Don't none of that stuff sound godly to me. See, but in order for you to talk like this, see, You got to be them changed. You got to be willing to deny yourself and take up Christ's cross and follow him. Because as soon as you start talking, people's going to try to destroy you. I'm talking about preachers, deacons, mothers. Everybody. They'll try to destroy you. See, once you done sold your soul to the devil, you're never going to get that trust back again. Because people always going to remember what you did or what you said. Jesus, yeah, he was able to toss all your sins into the sea of forgiveness where he'll never bring them up again. But I don't have that ability. See, I don't have that strength. See, in the physical body, I got to be able to protect myself and look around and see what's around me and see what the situation is. See, everybody that's around you that said they're your friend, they're not your friend. Remember, straight is the gate and narrow is the way that lead to salvation. And this is what God said. Few be that find it. But broad is the way and wide is the gate that lead to destruction. And there many be that find it. If you with Christ, straight is the gate and narrow is the way that lead to salvation. The prize doesn't go to the swiftest or to the strongest. The prize go to he or she that endures until the end. To him goes the prize. You got two choices. You got two paths that you can take. God calls them the goats on your left and the sheep is on your right. He don't want you lukewarm. He don't want you straddling the fence. So right now, Monday, May 18, 2026, right now, we're at a crossroad. You got to make a decision on which way that you're going to go. This situation is not going to get no better. It's going to get worse. This battle is not ours, but it's the Lord. See, there's power and there's principalities that's in high places, like the White House or the FBI or the CIA or Homeland Security. A corrupt government, once you break laws, you're going to do everything you can to try to stay in power because you know if the power changes and we look at all the crime you did, you're probably going to end up in prison. So they fighting for their life now. See, when you follow the devil, when the devil got kicked out, it said he took a third of the angels with him. So we know that President Trump got at least a third of the federal government with him. And he's not going to give up that power. He's drunk on that power. He's intimidating people. He's bullying people. You got people, you seen the people in the hearing scared to speak. because they don't want to die. But if you are a true believer and you really trust God and you really got faith in God, and the Bible said Jesus went away and prepared a place for you, that where he is, there may ye be also. Don't you think that you wouldn't be worried about no death? You don't want to die. Nobody does. But nobody, you can go lay down right now and don't nobody do nothing to you, and just lay down in the bed and your heart can stop and you'll sleep. That's what the old saying, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Our freedom, the black and brown people, and some good white folk, our freedom is on the line right here. If we lose this battle, we're going to go back into the dark ages. First it's going to be a whole bunch of bloodshed. Remember, back during the Civil War, there was only over 3 million people in this country. Now we got over 300 million. Just imagine what a slaughter that would be in just a couple of hours. Just in a couple of hours of a civil war, it could be millions of people dead in the street in a couple of hours. Just imagine a man that's over you that's going to lead you to the greatest slaughter that ever happened on planet Earth. And you got 77 million people supporting this thing. So I let you know how bloody it's going to be. It's going to be bloody. Because nobody is going back. I was born free. I was born right here in America. Nobody have any more rights to be in America and participate in the American citizen. Nobody have any more rights than I do. Or you do. As a team, we own this thing. I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about what your faith is. Either you a sheep or you a goat. You got to be one or the other. A decision has to be made. And I made my decision to follow Christ. I don't know about you. And I don't know about nobody else. But I know who I'm going to believe. I'm going to believe that God is who he said he is. And that God is going to be able to achieve all the things that he say he will achieve. I'm going to believe that Jesus is the Christ. He's the Messiah. Emmanuel. And Emmanuel being interpreted meant that God is with us. God is with us. Our own federal government that we pay have turned on the black and the brown people. They took away women's rights to choose about their own body. These hypocrites took away a woman's right, trying to say that they know more what a woman needs about her body than she do. God didn't give him that permission. No man is greater than any other man in God's eyes. They gutted in 2010. They gutted the Civil Rights Act. Using our tax dollars, using our lawyers. The one that we paying to attack women's rights. To attack civil rights. To attack the voting rights. That song said, enough is enough is enough. God didn't raise us up to lose. God is a winner. God have never lost the battle. Every time you see a ballroom, every time you see an interstate, every time you see the state capitol and the White House and all the government buildings round about, we control the air, the sea, and the land. We, the people of the United States of America, we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand. One nation under God, individually with liberty and justice for all. The ultimate thing is that we fight for freedom. We fight for the freedom to speak. We fight for the freedom of the press. We fight for the freedom of religion. We fight for the right to bear arms, to protect ourselves and our families and our communities. We fight for the right to assemble and to petition our government. No man, woman, or child have the right to try to take a right away from another man or another woman. That's against the Constitution. That's against God. God has no respect for person. If God will do it for you, he'll do it for you, you, and you. Don't let nobody lie to you. These prejudiced white people has been living like they gods. They're living like gods off our labor. Now they done turned on us. Now they got AI and they got robots. They don't need us no more. Well, why don't you go back to the 60s and the 70s and look at history? That's why so many black and brown kids end up with cancer. End up with a mental defect. Because they put those big old transformers, those big old station transformers, they put them right in the hood. So all them big old transformers, and then you just hear them at night just pop, just popping. And the poor people had to live around there. And kids was born with mental problems and with cancer. These data centers are going to kill us. These data centers is polluting all the fresh water. Those data centers is just sucking that water. Once they go through that thing, that water is going to be contaminated forever probably. They're killing us. And they're killing us for money. and for power and for glory and lust. This is our country. We, the people, are this country. The Constitution is of us. It's by us. And it's for us. It's time for us to take back our power and put it back in the hand of the people. Let's write some fair and just laws. And make sure they tough laws. That if you don't obey the law, there's going to be grave consequences. And we must mean that. We need to say what we mean and mean what we say and do what we say we're going to do. Why should millions of people die for some prejudiced people that just can't fit in? After 500 years, they still can't fit in. That's just pure evil. Those are the people that hate. They got to be weeded out. You can't let this continue. If every 50 or 60 years, the Constitution is challenged. Last time at the Civil War, you gave the white people that own people, you gave them reparations. And you took away the reparation for the blacks. You know that was unfair, and that, you know that's unjust. You know you owe us that money. And God brought us up to the pinnacle. Black and brown people is 90% of the world's population. The Caucasian is less than 10% of the world's population. But they want to live like they gods. And they want to act like they gods. But no more. Those days are over. We know now. We see now. The Constitution says no matter what race you are, or where you from, or who you love, nobody have no more rights to what is God-given than you do. We own this ballroom, but we can't go to it. We can't get married in it. We can't celebrate in it. But we can pay all the bills. Is that fair? Is that just? Is that godly? I don't think so. The Bible says in the last days, people are going to call evil good and good evil. People are going to start calling bitter sweet and sweet bitter. The Bible says those are the signs or the ends of time. There's going to be wars and there's going to be rumors of wars. He said, but the end is not yet. There's going to be some trials and there's going to be some tribulations. But the end is not yet. So all I want you to do, I want you not to be the swiftest. You don't have to be the strongest. Just be the one that endures until the end. I'm going to endure whatever come my way, whether sunshine or rain, hot or cold, up or down. I'm going to put my trust in the Lord. I'm going to let Christ lead me and guide me in the way that he would have me to go. Right? Is that what you're going to do? Good night.